Good evening, everybody. My name is Tom Stoukas, coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario, on April 2nd. We're in April already, and it's pretty nasty outside today, so who knows if we'll even have power. So if I go out, that's probably why, because it's supposed to be really. I want to check the weather today here, the radar. This is what we are facing right now. So 10 o'clock, we should be fine. Got a big one coming our way. Whoa. Maybe it might miss us. No, well, I think we'll be fine. All right. But it's cool. We got a lot of lightning outside, so I love watching the lightning. Okay. Sorry. So, day 12 of the Canadian election, I saw a new poll, the latest poll, the Liberals up 8%, and Carney's lead as the preferred prime minister is like 15 points, which is all good and whatever. I don't know how reliable the polls are, but we have to, assume they're somewhat accurate, I guess, just for the hell of it. And people say that a lot of the conservatives are saying, like, those polls can't be right, and look at all the crowds he's getting. Pierre is getting in the conservative rallies. But the problem isn't his rallies, it's Ontario. It's if he's behind in Ontario, the other places he can't win without Ontario, basically. And that's the issue, I think, that they're not grasping. And, for some reason, Doug Ford's determined to defeat him in Ontario. So, yeah, that's where the Liberals are really focusing their firepower in Ontario. Obviously, in their Atlantic stronghold, too, but Ontario is the prize, the electoral prize, and Quebec seems to have gone solid for Carney. It's weird. They like Carney. Who knows what he promised them? And just, I don't know. Not much. We had the tariffs announcement tonight with Donald Trump. Canada left out of a lot of the main, like these new ones that he announced for all the other countries in the world, but still the big one that hurts is the auto tariff that's supposed to go into effect, and that's gonna like could crush Ontario in the long term. So that's why Ontario's such a big thing in this election. Like, who's going to convince Ontario is the best to lead this effort? And Ontario, picks the winner basically. So it's very dramatic, really, when you think about it. Like, we're in this tariff thing. The auto sector is being eyed like a hungry wolf there. They want those auto sector jobs in Michigan and Pennsylvania and Ohio and Kentucky, wherever. And We got Doug Ford running things like a dummy. Like, it's like easy pickings, maybe. So, all sorts of action and reaction to those tariffs from the Canadian politicians. Pierre kind of is trying to sound a little different, saying, oh, we should meet, cease all this trade bickering, and then arrange a meeting for a full renegotiation. But is it like too little too late to differentiate himself? He's been pretty well shuffled around. Like, he's kind of lost momentum during this whole thing. Hold on. Okay. So, sorry, I just had a little video problem there. So, and then you got NDP, Jagmeet Singh. Nobody's even talking about him. He's like the most irrelevant poor guy. He's got no money and he's walking around making all these statements about he's going to say we should go dollar for dollar and we got to take on the Americans and this and that. It's like, it's pretty funny to watch. This will be his last election. At least we can revel in that joy. And but other than that, the NDP is going to get, like, all the NDP supporters. They're either disgusted with the way Jagmeet's destroyed the party, or they're just running to the Liberals because they're afraid of Donald Trump, and they think the Liberals are going to protect them. So it's pretty funny. They'll pick a new NDP leader soon. That'll be interesting, I guess. You never know. They might just fold in with the Liberals. So, what's the question, I guess? The question is, like, day 12, we got a little over 3.5 weeks. Can the Liberals, they keep beating Pierre at his game. Like, they cut the carbon tax. They're making all sorts of slick promises and also fear. They're working the fear factor with Donald Trump to a T. They really are. I have to compliment them. And then the gas thing. Everybody's got cheap gas. That's all that everybody's talking about today is the cheap gas. And it's like a little sugar high. Like, it won't last long, but it'll last long enough for them to vote, or not vote in anger, at least. Because, nothing really makes people more in a happier mood than cheaper gas. Like, it's, even if they don't think they're being influenced, they are. Like, so that's the question. Can he keep his lead? If he supposedly he has a lead, can he keep it? And, is he going to convince people he's the best person to deal with Trump? So far, according to the polls, he's convincing people of that. When I talk about people, I have people talking like people who believe in this political system of ours. Like, I'm pretty sure it's toast. I think we're into a new world. We're going to need some political, like every other institution, the political reforms are what we need to do, because the elections here aren't working anymore. It's got to be all changed to address the needs that's not being met now. So, but I'm interested in this election just for who's going to win. I'm just out of curiosity. I don't think anything major will change regardless of who wins. So, but the question is, will the Liberals pull it off? Will they come back from behind, or will the Conservatives be able to retake the lead and finish them off? It's hard to say. Like I said, I think they're both the same, but it'd still be interesting to see who wins. And then obviously we have the aftermath, like how the relationship with Donald Trump's going to go. Obviously, it can't go any worse than it did with Trudeau. Like, we hit the bottom there. And then like, what's Alberta going to do? How's that going to go? That dynamic's going to work. So the election, there's going to be a lot of stuff post-election that needs to be resolved. Quebec, the thing with Quebec, just everything. Everything's on the table after this election. It's really crazy time, but it's good. It's good. Poliev was in Kingston tonight. I guess he got a good crowd there. We'll see how he does. We'll see. All right. And on the provincial level, we got Doug Ford. He was going to have a press conference tomorrow, and he canceled it because Canada wasn't included in this new round of tariffs. Although we are included for auto tariffs and steel and aluminum and others. So he canceled his press conference. I have a feeling he was muzzled. He's probably told to shut up by Carney or somebody. Anyway, he was on tonight. I found a video of it. He looked pretty. He didn't look as chipper as he was before when he was all calm, all gaunt and acting all macho during the election. He looked pretty, I don't know, shaken. Maybe I'm being biased. I'll show the video. You can look for yourself. But he's been awfully quiet. And now with this auto thing, could be big problems for Ontario. Big problems. And he's not talking about electricity anymore. That's off the table, I guess. So, fearless leader Doug Ford, oh my God, we're so screwed. See, Ontario's basically surrendered to the federal government, like we're run by the federal government. Because Doug Ford ain't, he's not running anything. The only thing he's running is the buffet line, and he's in front. That's what I have to say about that. And I guess Carolyn Mulrooney did a campaign event for Pierre, so that's interesting. I bet she's gonna want to be the next premier. I think she lost out to Ford. She ran for the leadership. She lost out to Ford, so she's ready to swoop in there, I think. I can sense it. Especially if Pierre wins, she'll be in there because Pierre and Doug won't be able to work together. So there's that dynamic. So many dynamics at play. It's crazy. We're still all screwed. I mean, while these guys play their politics, the cities are all going to shit. There's crime. You see crime every day. And, yeah. But Pierre, he keeps saying this thing, and I had the video somewhere. The Canadian promise is, what the hell? Canadian promise means anybody from anywhere can do anything in Canada. And I think what he means is anybody in Canada can do anything anywhere in Canada. But what it sounds like is anybody can come to Canada and do whatever the hell they want. And that's not a good campaign message. I don't understand why he keeps saying it. He says it in his commercial. He says it in his campaign speeches. And it's like a globalist would say in Davos or something it's not very, it sounds like an open border invitation. That's what it sounds like. I don't understand it, to be honest. So that's just my opinion. So he's got to, I think the reason he's struggling in this campaign is because he tried to go half MAGA and half whatever the hell, centrist, liberal, half progressive conservative, half MAGA. All right? And you can't do that. You either got to go full MAGA. And when I say MAGA, I mean radical, say whatever the hell, without looking at the polls, to progressive conservative, which is basically liberal light. And he did half one way and half the other. Either go full nationalist, say, hey, we need to get rid of immigration, we got to do this, do that. He'd get attacked, but at least he'd own his positions, and he would send a clear signal, especially to people that don't vote. But instead, he's trying to play both sides, and it's failing, I think, because when you go wishy-washy, you don't get anything out of it. Like everything goes to shit. So you got to be strong on either. You're going to be a progressive conservative, or you're going to be a right-wing nationalist. It's not a hard decision. But he's trying to pick at a little both, and it's disastrous because both sides see that. So the more moderate side is like, might as well vote for Carney. He's got more experience. That's where he's bleeding, I think. And then the radical side, the fringe side, like us, like me, I wouldn't vote for the conservatives. But we know he's a phony, so we're not going to vote for him. So he doesn't get any votes, basically. He loses all the votes. Anyway, some people can pull off the triangulation. They try to appease both factions. Clinton could do it, but not many people can do it. And Pierre's not doing it. See, whether you like Trump or not, he goes all in on the one side. He doesn't look at the poll, none. And he takes his hits on certain things and whatever. But he's obviously successful because he's the president. So maybe a good, stick to your principle if you have any principles. Because when you do the both sides thing, people start to wonder: do you have any principles, or are you just playing all the sides to your advantage? And people want these days, especially these days, they want somebody that speaks to their principles, not just slogans or two-faced statements. So I'm more looking past the process of this process. I think there's going to be some major rapid changes. Should be interesting, hopefully. But this is interesting just to see if Pierre, what's going on in Canada, what will unfold in Canada. Hopefully, they might kick me out. You never know. Other than that, but I was kind of at work all day, so I was barely even online. But basically, nothing really much. Just the Trump the reaction to Trump's tariff this and tariff that. It's like, oh my gosh. It's interesting though. Learning a lot about tariffs. I know I don't want to ever hear the word tariff. But it's interesting. It's interesting. It's usually leads to bigger things. That's the problem with tariffs. Is like they sound boring, but they usually lead to more crazy developments. The boring stuff starts, and then it goes to the crazy. Not that crazy, hopefully. Maybe, probably, though. All right. So, good morning. That's what I woke up to. The first story, yes. This story, April Fool's, I thought it was an April Fool's joke, but it was him quitting, this MP, Michael Chang, quitting after Mark Carney basically defended him to say he apologized for his comments, so we're going to let him run. And then the next day he stepped down, and I thought it was an April Fool's joke because it was April Fool's Day. So this is the incident where he was commenting. He was talking to some Chinese association, and he ended up quitting. So it looks like they figured the story wasn't going away. So it's like, gotta go. I don't know why they didn't make him go in the first place, but basically the overall problem. Well, let's see what he says first. I listened to what he said. I mean, you read it, but then you hear it. Like, I read it and I thought, okay, he's got to go, but there's a bigger issue at play. But even listening to it, it's even worse when you listen to it. So let's listen to it first. He's resigned now, so he's not going to be in.
But also, MP right now, he's wanted.
He's talking about. He's talking about another MP, guy running for an MP for the Conservatives, who's also a foreign kind of guy. He's a Hong Kong activist. He's in Canada because he's not allowed in Hong Kong. But he's running for an MP in Canada. That makes no sense. So that's who he's talking about. I think Jonathan Tay or something. So both these guys shouldn't even be running for MP. Anyway, let's see what he says.
The person that's running most probably is, the Chinese community knows, Joe Tay, Zhang Jing. Right? He is looking for the nomination. The Chinese media knows him. He was in the media business in Hong Kong, and here in Canada he's a radio host, or I don't know, for Singtel Media or Fairchild, he was a media person. So that's all he did all his life. But also right now he is wanted by the Chinese government, and there's a $1 million reward on his head. So they want, if you guys want to pick him up and take him to the Chinese consulate, you make him $1 million.
See, I don't know if he was serious or he's joking, because she started laughing first.
I'm just joking, but there is
now
he says, arrest warrant out for him from the government of China.
I'm just joking, but seriously.
Reward for him, but apart from that, I can't say more than that. Right?
All right. My solution, because it's never going to happen, but it should happen. It should happen. It's never going to happen because we're screwed as a country. We have no confidence. Is only people born in Canada should be eligible for the House of Commons. So if you're not born in Canada, sorry. There's 300 people in the House of Commons, 338. Pretty sure you can find another job somewhere. It's not that big a deal. But if you're not born in Canada and you come, it should be just common sense. Like this guy, I guess he was born in Pakistan. He's Chinese. And he came to Canada when he was 17. So under that, he wouldn't run as an MP, but he's been here a few years. But he's obviously enmeshed in this Chinese business because he's talking about Jonathan Tay, talking about the communists having a bounty on us. He knows all about this stuff because he grew up 17 years outside of Canada involved in this kind of stuff. So I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but I'm not saying he can't live his life in Canada as a Canadian citizen, but why bring that kind of stuff into the Canadian Parliament, into the Canadian politics? It makes no sense. Like, why is he talking about Jonathan Tay or whatever, Joey Tay or whatever the hell's name? Why are they even both talking? They can talk about China at a university somewhere, about democracy in China. Why are they talking about it as MPs? It makes no sense. It's the same thing with the Indians. They're going to have more Indian MPs born in India than we have born in Ontario. What I'm saying is it just doesn't make sense, okay? I wouldn't go immigrate to Greece, live there for 5 years, and then run for parliament. I wouldn't. I couldn't. So, all you're doing is inviting foreign interference. Like, foreign interference. Because why are we even talking about this during an election? All right. Next one. So I checked the gas prices yesterday, and they didn't move. I guess they didn't move right away after this carbon tax shenanigans to reduce it, but they did today. So now they're down to, they were like 130 something, but now they're like down to 112, 113 at most places. Oh, 114 almost. And it's like, that's all everybody's talking about today is cheaper gas. And it'll be the carbon tax cut be like a little sugar high bribe for voters ahead of the election. And they really timed it perfectly. Like, you couldn't have timed it more perfect. Like, nothing gets people in a better mood, not like to put away their pitchforks and a little cheaper gas. It's like, okay, we're not as mad anymore. And I'm not saying it'll work, but it's a little sugar high for them to keep them at bay a little bit. And it's like kind of when Doug Ford sent out the rebate checks right during ahead of the election. It's a little sugar high, keeps people a little happy, so they don't come and lynch you guys at the park. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, like, I'm talking like the medieval times when they actually showed up with the pitchforks. It's a little sugar high. If that can stay during till the election, it's gonna be hard to. But my question is, most people see this and they see, oh, cool, look how cheap the gas is. My question is, well, how will we be paying all these years? Damn it. Where'd all that money go? I could have used it. I spent a lot of money on gas, trust me. So, it's what a scam, man. But most people, all they think about is, look how cheap it is. The reserve's going to be packed. Oh, my God. They're going to need a traffic person with a vest on to direct traffic. But anyway, like, yeah, my question is, where was all the money going all those other years we were paying? Now it's like, we're good little peasants, so now we get a break. It's diabolical. It is, very. But they're good at it. Carney's more adept, I think, than Trudeau. He can pull the plug on something that's not working, like, that's what you got to do. So we got a more formidable foe here, ultra globalist Carney. Very formidable, as Pierre's finding out, I guess. He's gonna have us digitized, barcoded in no time. This guy. All right. Enjoy the cheap gas. All right. Next post. Rachel Gilmore. This is hilarious. First of all, I can't believe this Rachel Gilmore thing. I don't hate Rachel Gilmore, but I don't think she's a good journalist at all. But she's kind of mean and lies a lot. But I didn't care even if she was on CTV because all it did was make CTV look bad, makes her look bad, makes the liberals look bad. So I guess she got the spot. She got the spot on CTV to a weekly segment for the election, which could lead to other things if she does a good job. Okay, good for her. And I guess she got a whole bunch of uh, what's the word? Negative feedback they got for hiring her. And apparently, a campaign official from Polyev said they didn't like her or whatever. So CTV drops her, which is funny because like they're dumb to hire her in the first place, so they're kind of stupid. And then they buy her off. I'm sure they gave her a bunch of money to shut her up, but it didn't work. Not a bunch of money, but probably a little wad. And they do that to get rid of you. So anyway, they hire her for some bizarre reason. And I've dealt with these kinds of people, and I'm like, I know they're not super huge bright, but I didn't even think they were that. Apparently they are that stupid to hire. Like, where were they thinking? They probably had a little bit of a rebellion in the newsroom. They probably like, oh my God, what are you guys doing? Like, I could imagine a few journalists at CTV were like, what the hell? So anyway, CTV fires her from the segment. She's just a contractor, like she's not an employee anyway. But they say they fired her because of the negative feedback from people would be like me, I guess. But apparently from Pierre's team as well. But like, that sounds like they're just using that as an excuse. I think maybe they realized they made a stupid mistake, and a lot of people at CTV hated her, and they were just using this as an excuse to get rid of her. Well, now she's got nuclear. She recorded the call of her getting fired, and now she's broadcasting it to the world. And as usual, she's making a story about her. I can't even believe I'm talking this much about her. But I think it's hilarious because my point is why would Pierre's team waste time getting her off the air? Like, all she would have done was help him, because all the people listen to her and be like, oh my gosh. So that was my whole point. But as usual, she's making it about herself. Rachel Gilmore. She's forever the victim. She needs to be. If she acts like the victim, get out of journalism right now. All right. This is what I was talking about before. Next post. Pierre Poilievre's campaign commercial starts with him saying the Canadian promise is that anyone from anywhere can do anything. This is something a globalist in Davos would say. Who's writing these scripts? If Pierre loses, it will be because of stuff like this. All right. So this was his rally in PEI.
Are we going to elect a conservative government that's going to put Canada first for a change?
I'm not going to watch a lot of this.
You know, my husband began this journey 3 years ago when he became the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada. He has been traveling from coast to coast to coast to step away from the Ottawa bubble and the elites so that he can listen to Canadians directly. Because what we need is a government for the people, by the people.
All right. This is in PEI, I guess. But I was referring to a commercial. I got to find it. I'm going to look for it. I was referring to a commercial of Canada First or whatever. was like, why does he keep saying that? It's not going to help him. And this is what I was talking about, his wishy-washy approach. Like, he's a nationalist 1 minute, and then he's like a progressive, conservative, liberal the next. Okay, is this it?
Than the one the Liberals left us. A plan to... We need a serious nation-building plan to Trump-proof our economy. Mine will put Canada first. It is a plan for Canada that is richer and stronger than the one the Liberals left us. A plan to protect Canada from whatever choices, wrong choices, the President might make. So my message to President Trump is this. If you keep attacking our economy, over the next 4 years, under my Conservative government, Canada will become completely rebuilt as an economy that no longer is reliant on the Americans for everything. You will have lost your greatest trading partner and best friend. We will be a confident and strong country capable of standing on its own 2 feet, standing up to anybody that gets in our way, and moving forward to give our people back the Canadian promise.
So this is a different commercial, but this is an interesting commercial because he's basically doing the Carney approach, basically the same approach as Carney, and a lot of his base was not happy with him being so confrontational. But whatever, you can't win either way. These. Oh. All right. But don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of time left in this election. Hold on. This is
Fourth term in power. After swapping today, the Liberals are asking for a 4th term in power. After swapping Justin Trudeau for his economic advisor and hand-picked successor, Mark Carney. But after the lost Liberal decade, the question is whether Canadians can afford a 4th Liberal term. After these out-of-touch Liberals inflated housing costs, drove up the cost of food, pushed 2 million people to food banks, states, and made our economy...
Hey, I saw the commercial today. Must be losing it. All right. It'll probably show up. It was on TV, actually. All right. This was an interesting story today. While Premier Doug Ford might be staying out of the federal election, not his campaign manager, though, or his manager or his boss, Corey Tanecki, he's been talking about the election nonstop. But Doug Ford, he's not getting involved. But so while Ontario Premier Doug Ford might be staying out of the federal election, his Treasury Board President Carolyn Mulroney isn't staying on the sidelines. Mulroney endorsed CPC leader Pierre Poilievre as the next PM. So that's interesting. She actually ran against Doug Ford for the Progressive Conservative leadership, and she lost. And she might be thinking it's her turn. She's got the pedigree. I guess her dad used to be the prime minister. Let's see what she says here.
Is the one leader who can channel.
So I wonder if Doug Ford's days are numbered. He's looking a little rough. We have a video of him today reacting to Trump, and he's looking a little rough. He maybe had a few pops.
I know Canadians are frustrated. They're anxious, and some are angry. In my judgment, Pierre Poilievre is the one leader who can channel that emotion into action, into unity, purpose, and a plan to rebuild our country. I believe, just as my father did, that Pierre Poilievre is ready to lead us to a stronger, a more united, and a more prosperous country than the one we inherited. And so with that, it is my great honor to introduce the next Prime Minister of Canada, my friend, Pierre Poilievre.
All All right, so so let's say Pierre wins. It's so hilarious. Like if Pierre wins a majority government, and where's that going to leave Doug Ford? Like Pierre he's going to say, "To hell with you, fat man." It's going to be hilarious. To be honest, I want Pierre just to win just for that, you know. Like I said, I believe the parties are both globalists, but it'd be funny just to see that, because he's not going to be able to work with Doug Ford. I mean, Doug Ford is going to have to beg on his knees if Pierre has a majority after what he's done to Pierre. It's so bizarre. Like Doug Ford's doing his best to prevent a Pierre victory, and if Pierre wins, he's going to be an awkward situation. And then there's Carol Mulroney basically waiting in the wings, and if Pierre wins, because that's what this scene tells me. So I'm sure Carolyn Mulroney's hoping for a Pierre win. All right, next post here. Randy Hillier. Like I said, I have been at work all day, so haven't seen much. Now that we know Carney and the red globalists are certain of forming the next government, not the blue globalists of PP, there's no need to worry about the red herring of vote splitting. You can now vote for your conscience and not for one of the two known evils. But don't be sad, the blue globalists will anoint a new leader next year, and then the blue team will have another turn at getting to the trough. So he's kind of the same boat as me. We're basically waiting for this political system to change or go extinct, and you know, we have a new political system, because this one is just globalist team blue trading for globalist team red. And then, so here's the Nanos, the latest numbers from Nanos. I think I saw this today. All right. So what is that? A 7-point lead? Yeah. 7 point. So Nanos, 45 to 38 for the Liberals, 9% for the NDP. Oh my God. 5% for the Bloc, 2%, and they're starting to include Nanos. Starting to include PPC, which is good advertising, I guess. Can't hurt. But the people PR needed to get are saying they're centrists, probably. They're like progressive conservatives. They're probably saying, you know what, Pierre's the same as Carney, and Carney's got more experience. They couldn't say that about Trudeau, but they can say that about Carney. So yeah, 7-point lead. But still early. Still lots of time for Mark Carney to implode. But the media is really carrying a lot of water for him. They're really picking the winner here. I don't like either one, but I want the system to end. But we need some kind of new system, because this where the first past post where the parties control the system, the different parties control the system to just take turns. Not working. It's not working. So yeah, Doug Ford called a press conference for tomorrow to respond to Trump's tariffs, and now they canceled the press conference. And like the auto tariffs are still on, so there's no reason he couldn't have the press conference. I think they muzzled him. I think there's like, you're not having no press conference. I could be wrong. But that's what would he say at the press conference? All right. So anyway, I saw the video of Ford. He looks like a scared dog, man. You guys can judge for yourselves. All right, next post. This is concerning the gas prices. And kind of what I was talking before, how we're getting like a little sugar high of our own savings instead of asking, where was all that money going all these years? So thank us, you plebs. We made gas prices cheaper by removing a tax we spent years defending. Yes. What happened all the years we were paying this tax that they said we needed? And it's like, poof, gone. But all people see is the immediate savings. They don't say, hey, hang on. What were we paying for 5 years? Or whatever long. Who knows how long this stupid tax. I don't want to know. But you know what? They're going to keep the price low right till the election. It's diabolical. Watch. This is the next post. Irrelevant man. Still pretending people care about what he has to say. Jagmeet Singh. Poor guy, man. He's still got 3 weeks to go, this guy. He's got no money. How's he going to... He's not going to have gas money, this guy. Tomorrow I will announce my plan. Nation building. The guy can't even afford a plane. How's he going to nation building, wartime measures to Trump-proof Canada. Our path to victory will empower every Canadian to stand up for our neighbors and strengthen our economy in these uncertain times. Wow. Irrelevant. To be honest, I honestly believe, especially when the debate comes, depending on how Carney's doing, the whatever 9% they still have will probably go, they'll all run to the Liberals because they'll see how much of a drag this guy is on their party. I wonder who will be the next NDP leader. Probably that try to get the NDP premier in there. Wob, can you? That's their best shot. I don't know, NDP. I don't think it's gonna last, the NDP. Jagmeet destroyed the NDP. Next post. But that's another story we'll watch is the NDP. Will it implode or will it never know? It could reinvent itself. That's so many little things to watch after the election. Next post. All right. Kyle Kemper, Justin Trudeau's half brother. He's always funny. What's he saying? Another reason to get your money out of the banks. The government can freeze and steal your money. CRA is partly responsible for destroying Canada's prosperity and enriching Mark and his friends. It's time to abolish CRA, eliminate income taxes, implement a seamless GST, and leverage tariffs. The system is beyond broken. Putting your elbows up won't solve anything at all. Yeah, CRA. I'll tell you right now, if you're a business owner, you hate getting those CRA envelopes. Like, sometimes they reassess you or whatever. Oh my God, it's horrible. And there's so many employees at CRA. He's right. Next post. This is Carney's reaction to the Trump tariffs.
Fundamentally change the international trade.
He's boring. That's his superpower, is to bore you to death.
So President Trump has just announced a series of measures that are going to fundamentally change the international trading system. Now, in doing so, he has preserved a number of important elements of our relationship, the commercial relationship between Canada and the United States. But the fentanyl tariffs still remain in place, as do the tariffs for steel and aluminum. As of this evening, the tariffs on automobiles will enter into force And the U.S. has signaled that there will be additional tariffs in so-called strategic sectors, pharmaceuticals, lumber, and semiconductors. So we're in a situation where there is going to be an impact on the U.S. economy, which will build with time. In our judgment, it will be negative on the U.S. economy. That will have an impact on us. But the series of measures will directly affect millions of Canadians.
Wow.
We're going to fight these
There's the
tariffs
fear.
with countermeasures. We are going to protect our workers, and we are going to build the strongest economy in the G7. In a crisis, it's important to come together, and it's essential to act with purpose and with force, and that's what we will do.
So, whether you like him or not, he's trying to come off as he's the prime minister. He's in charge. He's not panicking. He seems to think he can outweight Trump because Trump's gonna cause more damage to the U.S. than the tariffs will cause more damage to the U.S. in the long run, and so that'll be like a reverse bargaining chip almost. But yeah, that's kind of what he's trying to project. But he's trying to make this the issue. Like, if he can keep this in the news, he's going to scare the hell out of people, and they're going to say, keep doing it. But there's still a lot in the air. Still a long way to go. This tariff thing's like a really wild card, especially on the auto tariffs. That's the killer in Ontario. They're going to flip out. They're probably flipping out already. A lot of auto jobs in this province. All right, next post. This is Doug Ford on CNBC. I don't know why he still go on these shows. I haven't watched this because I was at work, but I'm going to watch it right now. All right.
Lutnick knows that we're willing to take these tariffs off.
Right.
You're saying you take all your tariffs off. I'm saying
we will take them off. That's right.
See, he's talking about tariffs, and he's a provincial premier. He's not in a position to make these decisions.
why is that not already? I guess my question is, why has all of that not already happened? And does President Trump know that you'd be prepared to do that?
He knows, and Secretary Lutnick knows that we're willing to take these tariffs off, like in the next minute, if he said he's taking their tariffs off. So let's look at the auto sector.
Yeah, he doesn't. Anyway, he shouldn't be on American TV, this guy. And this is him tonight in Queen's Park. Yeah, I don't even know why this guy gets in front of the camera. They're going to get rid of him, I think. Look at this guy. Now, look at him. I'm not an expert, but he don't look like somebody who's full of confidence that he's going to beat Donald Trump. He don't even look like he's confident he's going to have his job.
Where we stand right now, it's honestly, it's pretty unclear. I know as much as what you know, listening to President Trump right now. The positive thing that I saw was we weren't on that list. We weren't on page 1, we weren't on page 2, we weren't on page 3, and ourselves and Mexico. So we're going to stay.
So he's talking about like the reciprocal tariffs that other countries are facing. So he's basically taxing them the same they tax the states. But I guess Canada wasn't on it because we have a free trade agreement. But the auto sector's still on it. The autos produced outside the U.S. are still subject to tariffs. So that's probably why he looks like he's ready to faint.
Let's hope that there's some positive news coming. But this all goes back to relationships, and I've always believed in that. And in business and in government, you have to build the relationship.
See, this guy's he's mentally. He was just saying the other day he wants to inflict pain on the American people. Now he's saying about relationships. Like, there's something wrong with this guy.
We have built it. We've communicated to the administration, and we'll find out as this goes on. We'll be in contact with the administration and have a conversation with them as well. We're working closely with our federal government. I had that conversation earlier this morning with Prime Minister Carney, and
so instead of his press conference, he's going to meet with the Prime Minister tomorrow to plot their strategy. Like, oh my God, like he's probably going to get his orders. So I'm pretty sure Carney's the one who canceled that press conference, because now they're meeting.
What I've seen so far, I really don't want to comment because I'm really hoping it's positive news. But as we all know, that can change hour by hour, day by day.
All right. So yeah, he's looking a bit rough, really rough. He's not talking as tough, nowhere near as tough. We're screwed. Okay, and then there's the poll. So it's weird. This one was 45-37. This was an 8-point lead on this one. I don't know why I think there was a typo on the other one. But according to this, it's an 8-point lead for the Liberals. So, but it's still a lot of time. Looks like the NDP's bleeding to the Liberals. PPC's bleeding a little to the Conservatives, because the Conservatives are really putting a lot of pressure on PPC people to vote. Gotta do it, man. So, Greens are bleeding to the Liberals, looks like. So, yeah, should be interesting. We still got a lot of time left. And there's Val Kilmer died today, too. Oh, April 2nd. He was one of my favorite actors. And we'll leave it on that. A little tribute to Val. Oh, how do you do this? Why isn't it working? Oh, interesting. Must be the video. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow.